Lemkin Solitaire and Equalizer seeders and planters offer disruptive innovation like vertical banding, dry and or liquid onboard fertilizer, and great prices. Go to lemkindemo.com for more information and to request a demo.
Well, we've been covering here at Real Ag Radio the potential changes that Minister Blois is suggesting on the BRM front, and part of this is to deal with some of the trade issues that Canada has been facing and the concerns about farm profitability in the cropping sector as we head into 2025. Here to break down the potential changes and what's at work and what maybe you need to do as a producer, it is AJ Gill, who is responsible for BRM programming at MNP. AJ, how are we doing?
Very good, Sean. Thank you so much for having me back on your show and to talk about some of these proposed changes that Mr. Boyce kind of indicated, and they got announced on March 22nd. I believe he was on your show, and he didn't get into it, but he was kind of saying there'll be some stuff that'll be coming down. So I think this is what he was talking about.
Yeah. So I guess what is being proposed? I guess let's start there.
Yeah, let's break it down. So the changes that are being proposed is for 2025 year only at this time, and the biggest change is going to be an increase to the cap to $6 million. The farming has changed quite a bit. Farm sizes have increased, and that's been always a pain point from the industry, and we've been pushing it to the provinces and to the federal government that a $3 million cap needs to increase. It's been in place for the last 20 years, even if you took simple inflation, and I think that's kind of what they did. They took a 3% inflation and said, okay, what would this cap should look like just to cover your expenses on your farm, and they came up with the $6 million number, so which is a very positive change. So the AgriStability payments cap will increase from $3 million to a $6 million.
That's a big change.
That is a big change. And the other change that's coming up is they are increasing the payout rate, the compensation rate, from 80% to 90%. If you recall, a couple of years ago, it went from 70 to 80%, and now that's being bumped up to 90%. So this means anybody that is having a disaster on their farm is going to be in a payment situation will be getting an additional 12%, roughly 12% increase to their AgriStability payment. And a couple other smaller changes, which are leaving it with the province, is to get the funds quickly into the farmers' hands. They are increasing the interim payment rate to 75%, so you can actually get 75% off your potential AgriStability payment before you even complete your taxes and all that. So you can apply for that in September, October, when you know what your year is going to look like. Once you farm for 6 months, you can apply for an interim application. And the other piece that they're adding to it is giving the provinces an option to trigger something called TAP. TAP is a targeted advance payment. So usually brought in situations like floods, disaster, disease, any of that kind of stuff, or border shutdown, so they can get the payment into the farmers' hands very quickly. It's usually quick and dirty. There's been some issues with TAP. I'm not personally a big fan because it does lead to sometimes and overpayment situations down the road. We've had that in the past. That has happened to us. It kind of doesn't feel fit with the farmers after the fact. But it is a mechanism to get the money into the farmers' hands very quickly. If you're in a situation where you need this money now, but you can't wait for, even the interim applications can take up to 30 to 45 days, and they're not, they always sometimes can take a bit longer. With the TAP, is usually based on whatever inventory you have on hand or based on your prior year's records, and they'll get the money to your hands very, very quickly.
Now, this is, of course, the suggestion from Minister Blois. Next steps, because we know this is a FedProv share, right?
Yes.
So do the provinces have to agree to these changes, or how does this work? What's the process?
So most BRM programs are 60-40 split. So 60% of the funding for the business risk management is coming from the federal government, 40% coming from the provinces. So feds have announced, and I think there was a quote somewhere, it's going to be $100+ million additional money that'll be coming out through this change for 2025. So the impact of that 40% is going to be on the provinces. And they are, so far, every province that I've talked to seems to be in favor of. So I think this is something that'll be coming through very quickly. Once this announcement came in a day before, I think day or 2 days before the writ was dropped. So right now it's with the provinces. They're working at it, trying to figure out what they need to do to go to Treasury from their side of things to look at this additional funding and get this sorted out. And I have a feeling that this will be quickly move forward. It's a little different, like in the past, like when they're making a big bilateral change where they need to have 50% of the provinces that represent 50% of the producers and one third of the provinces to sign up. I think this will be a little bit different. So I think it'll be going in just more like in the benefit change where the provinces can sign as a guideline change to it.
So you
So
see the provinces stepping up and participating then, and not going, not saying no.
I haven't, yeah, so I haven't talked to every single administration of the provinces, but I've got two or three three provinces that I've spoken to. They seem very positive. I know one province that, well, I can share because it's already, the province of BC is already doing that. So for 2024, they had already increased the cap to $6.1 million, and they're paying 90%, and they're paying 100% of their share through the province because of all the disasters they've had in the wine industry and the freeze. So they started it. So I'm assuming that they would be on site because this is kind of something they're already doing. And a couple of the provinces that I spoke to, they seem very positive and thrilled about this change.
And of course, there is political risk here because we're in the middle of an election. So
Yes.
now we could take the indication that the Liberals would move forward with this policy if Mr. Carney is successful. But if the Conservatives win, I guess that's the unknown in terms of what they do in response to this. For producers that are listening, what do they need to do at this point in time?
Yeah, I mean, a very, very good question, Sean. I mean, there's always a political risk, but I think your point, well, what do the producers need to do? They need to make sure, these are uncertain times. There's going to be an impact to you with this geopolitical trade issues. So make sure you're signed up for AgriStability. The deadline to sign up is April 30th. So that's the first step, to make sure you're signed up for AgriStability so you can qualify for all these benefits. I would strongly suggest doing a risk management plan on your farm. What does this impact look like? We've done some ag risk management projector, which we've talked to you in the past, where we looked at, okay, what would the impact be if there's a 20% drop across some of the commodities? We've taken a look and say what kind of impact it will have. What is going to be the hit to your balance sheet, and how much of this is going to be covered by these programs? So there'll be very good coverage. We are in those times where we've had the commodity prices and everything's have been good, so the margins are looking really, really good. So there's going to be a lot of protection provided through the AgriStability program. But we need to make sure the first step is sign up for the program. It's very inexpensive. Let them know by April 30th that you're signing up for the AgriStability program, and then look at a risk management plan for your farm and see what kind of impacts it can have.
So AJ, you know this program better than anybody. You look at the technicals of this and the changes that are being proposed. Do you feel that they are sufficient? Is there more to potentially do? Or is it, I had one listener say, hey, it's just lipstick on a pig. That's kind of harsh, but how do you view all these suggested changes?
Well, personally, I view it as a very positive change. The AgriStability program's intent is to keep your farm viable and give you time to make adjustments when you're going through a big change like this. So I think would this help? Yes, it'll help you kind of buy some time to kind of adjust. Is it going to be an adjustment, of finding a new market or finding a new product? So depending on what kind of farming you're doing and what your market is, what it's going to look like, it's going to try to buy you some time to adjust to that change. Is it going to be an answer for everything? No, AgriStability is not an answer for everything. If we get a new a change happens, we got to now be adjusting to a new market. The prices are going to be different. Your profitability is going to be different. It's going to get adjusted to that. So it's not going to be a long-term answer or a solution to it. It is there for 1 or 2 years when a situation like this happens, comes in. And AgriStability program has proven itself during COVID. Like AgriStability was used in a similar way without increasing the payout compensation rate or the payment cap, but it responded well to the changes that were happening at the COVID time. So in my mind, yes, I think these are very positive changes, and the AgriStability program will give you an opportunity to kind of adjust to the market signals.
Hey, I want to tell everybody out there about Oxbow, the latest innovation from New Farm, a versatile broadleaf in-crop herbicide powered by duplastin technology. Oxbow is your workhorse on resistant kochia and other tough weeds. Go to newfarm.ca or talk to your local ag retailer. I know AJ, he's dealing with those hard-to-kill weeds in the backyard. He's definitely thinking about Oxbow. Hey, AJ, thanks so much for shedding some light on this. And as this progresses, we'll definitely be following up with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Sean. Really happy to be here.